Hello, welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. I'm bored, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and instead of pacing back and forth, doing nothing, and well, actually, I'm in a lot of pain. I don't know what I did. I ate some food because I was hungry, and then a few hours later, I've just been in a lot of pain. But I mean, it was most likely from drug use. But anyway. So I was reading this story, and I'm not gonna read it here, but I guess like last week, these two chicks went out to a club in West Hollywood, and then someone dropped them off at different hospitals, and they were both like high on drugs, and like one of them died, and then the other one, I guess yesterday, was pronounced brain dead, so they're gonna donate her organs. But they both had like heroin in their system, and so they're trying to say it was foul play because the parents of both of the women both said, well, our daughters would never willingly take heroin, and I just don't believe that. um I'm just saying, because anytime someone dies, it's always like, oh well, he was this, he was that, the best thing ever. It's the same thing like when they find out that someone's a serial killer. They're like, oh well, he would, or she, because like, women are known for being a serial killer anyway. They're always like, he or she was the nicest person, would never do this, would never do that. I bet you any amount of money, if you search those women's browser history, you're gonna find some shit. Just saying. Because it's like if you're going to a club, usually a person who frequents clubs, bars. Now, once again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer, but I did play a psychologist on a soap opera for 4 episodes, so I think I know a lot more than the average person. And usually, when a person goes to a bar, uh, there, I'm not making this stat up. You can look it up. 75% of people that go to bars are sex addicts slash alcoholics. Uh, Look it up. I'm not making it up. So I'm just assuming people who go to clubs are the same. Because, club, bar, I don't know, it's relatively the same family. And usually, if you go to a club or a bar, you find drugs there. Most people, so trust me, I've been to a lot of clubs. If you like, if you like walk around just like saying the drug you want out loud, someone's gonna tap you on the shoulder, or someone's gonna approach you and offer to sell it. Okay, so yes, I think that the families of these women just don't want their names in. I'm not saying their names, but it's public. It's on the news. They just don't want their names sh- you know um, disheveled. Okay, it happens. They overdosed on heroin. You don't have to say it was forced. You don't have to make a already strapped LAPD that's probably defunded by the leftists and struggle more to to find out what happened. And also the people that dropped them off, apparently they can't identify them because their cars didn't have license plates, and I guess they concealed their identity. So what I like, I guess they're wearing masks. But here's the thing: if they wanted to find out the identity of these people, they could. I mean, there's cameras at the hospital, and then you just get security footage from each business and just track it down. Like you literally can use a CCTV and just other people's security cameras and track it down from from their destination. The reason why they don't know the identity of the people who dropped them off is because they don't want to find out. It's not that hard. There's literally cameras everywhere. If I walk outside the front of my house, I'm on 3 different cameras. In my backyard, I'm on 2 different cameras. Okay? There's cameras everywhere. So if they want to put the resources and the money into it, they could find out. who drop these women off. But the problem is, um, casual drug use. The reason why drugs are bad, there's a chance you could die, and it's usually the simplest answer is the right answer. They went over someone's apartment because that's what happened. They went over someone's apartment, did drugs. No one said that they were forced out the club. They weren't dragged out kicking and screaming. There's no witness account of that. They went out, they went, they left willingly, went to someone's place, partied, OD'd. I mean, like, if you mix alcohol with anything, now once again, I went to college. Uh, Heroin, if you mix heroin with alcohol, it has a synergetic effect, meaning um, instead of, like, if you take whatever 2 shots of booze while you're on heroin, those 2 shots of booze act like 6 shots of booze. Okay, and like, so once again, it has a synergetic effect. And then, like, the toxicology report, it didn't say what else was in their system, and how much you want to bet that they were recently vaccinated. That's why. Okay, and we just have to accept the fact because, like, deaths have been up. What was it, 25% worldwide? Once again, all these stats you can look up. I'm not just making stuff up. Okay. Um, yeah, like, just like deaths in general, and I'm not talking COVID related, just deaths in general have been up roughly 25%. And the only thing different around the world is people are being forced and coerced to do something that they don't want to do. And I bet you any amount of money those girls have recently got the jab, and then you throw in some heroin, you throw in some booze, and one of them's brain dead, one of them was dropped off dead at the hospital. And I bet you if the autopsy, they won't give the full report because they probably it was probably complications, and it was probably a heart issue. That's why they didn't say the cause of death of the girl. Anyway, and that's not a conspiracy. There are plenty of stories, news stories, statistics from like medical people in the UK. The UK has some reports that have come out that have said that heart attacks are up, and the reason why is the jab, but the problem is they can't publish it because they'll lose funding. So I digress, but that's why they're not saying anything. So anyway, today is I believe today is Monday. I think. I think. Anyway, so today we're gonna have 2 shows come out on the When I Have Spare Time podcast. We're gonna have got I think a show about a porn star. Um, I don't know if you've been keeping track, but recently we've lost a couple of porn stars this year due to drug use. Um, Lots of people are just, man, I don't know, like, drug overdoses have gone up a lot recently, but the only problem is when it's a porn star, that that really affects all of us. Porn stars are America's treasure. I'm not I'm not being facetious. I'm not trolling. I'm not trying to be funny. Think of your favorite actress. Okay, now that you're thinking of your favorite, now imagine she did a couple of porn movies too. That's awesome, right? You still like her, right? Okay, exactly. So, like, how they say if someone's a furry, they're a bad guy. Like, whatever. Like, he likes anime. Oh, but he's a furry. Okay, well, that's like disgusting. Okay, so I don't know who gave furries a bad name, but let's say you add the same thing. Like, he likes anime. He's also a porn star. I think that makes a person more likable. You know, I wouldn't mind being friends with a porn star. Why not? They probably got some great stories. You know, I mean, and I know I always refer back to the time when I was friends with an escort. I forgot her name. Meryl Lee Park. You know, The only thing she did, and once again, an escort is a porn star that just doesn't make movies. I mean, it's the same thing, people. She made my life better. Just saying, just her presence, having her over the apartment. I remember like I used to live on I used to have a place in Culver City. I think it was what street did I live on? Was it Huron? I forgot. But anyway, it was like me and my girlfriend had an apartment, and like during that time, I befriended an escort. I'm sure I've said so before, and like having her over the apartment, and obviously she came over when my girlfriend wasn't there because I don't need complications, fellas. Avoid complications. If you have a girlfriend and you're friends with an escort, do not let those two worlds collide. Just saying. In fact, that escort should be your best kept secret. You're friends, but you don't want your other friends to know. I don't know. Treat her like a scooter, aka a fat chick. Anyway, whole point is, she would come over, and she was so nice. Like, she would listen to me play guitar, um, compliment my collection of posters on the wall. She was very interested in my hobbies. Just great conversation. Like we would talk about each other's day. And once again, her days were a lot more interesting than my days because like I don't get paid to kick guys in the balls, but she did. You know, and think about it, and then like she would charge extra depending on like what kind of shoes they wanted her to wear. I mean, who thinks of this stuff? But like she did. Like that's a great businesswoman. Seriously, if there's a supply and demand, if you if you have a job where men will pay you $100 to 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 have you kick them in the balls, that's like a flat $100 fee. But when they start making requests that you got to wear certain kind of shoes or whatever, she adds on $20. You know, that's a good businesswoman. I see nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And I don't know why I always end up talking about you know, if I keep talking like this, people are gonna think that's what I'm into. I'm not. I am not. I would take a lie detector test. I'll fail it, but I'll still take a lie detector test. I am not into that. Okay. That reminds me. I remember one time. I swear I've told this story, but just in case I haven't told this story, there's a place. There's a bar called Brennan's in in God, what is it? The Marina. They have like turtle races there. It's like on Lincoln Boulevard, like in the Marina. It's a cool place. I used to live by there, and I would party. But anyway, I took two of my friends. I took my friend Adrian, who was a closeted homosexual who like pretended to like girls. It was funny. And then his friend Mike. His friend Mike was married to a model. I've I've known Mike for like 5 years. Never met his wife. Never been over his house. Um, we we would ask about his wife because like we would hang out all the time. Because we would go bowling a lot. Like, hey Mike, where's your wife? Oh, she's busy. Now that's just one example, but I can give 34 more examples of us going out to dinner, us going to the movies, us just doing some, the arcade. All these times were different days of the week, different times of the day. His wife was always busy. This guy's wife did not exist. Okay, for some reason he was double downing, triple downing, quadruple downing on this lie that he had a wife. We would always ask him, "Hey, can I see a picture of your wife?" Oh, well, she's too good looking, and I don't know the guy's hitting on her. Really, bro? No. After knowing someone for 5 years and their wife is always busy and they never have a picture of their wife, it's a lie. That's fine. He was still a cool guy, and it just became a joke. And like seriously, like after like the second year of this, yeah, it took 2 years, but after the second year of his wife just always being busy, we just came to the conclusion she doesn't exist. Okay, and we didn't, you know, call him out on it or anything like that. We just was like, yeah, that's Mike and he has a make believe wife. But anyway, so I took Mike and Adrian to Brennan's, and the whole thing was, I'm like, hey, let's go hit on chicks. So Mike went, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, this is more proof that Mike is not really married because why, why would he go? But anyway, so we went to Brennan's, and like to make it interesting, we broke it down by race, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just hit on Asian chicks because I like Asian chicks. Adrian, I think he said like it doesn't matter what he said because he doesn't like girls, but I think like black and white chicks. And then Mike was like, "Well, I'm married, but I'll like flirt if I see a cute girl." Anyway, so Mike, because of his presence, he looks like a very approachable, nice, well-mannered guy. So actually, he was interacting with women, talking. Adrian didn't talk to any chicks because he doesn't like chicks. And I was a social butterfly. I was talking to every chick there, just having fun, drinking, having a blast. Okay. So anyway, after a while, like me and Mike started making fun of Adrian because it was funny because like me and Adrian would make fun of Mike for having a pretend wife. Yeah, me and Adrian would make fun of Mike for having a pretend wife, but then me and Mike would make fun of Adrian because we're like, well, he's gay. Why is he pretending that he likes girls? So anyway, I talked to Mike. I'm like, Mike, why don't we try like a different approach to talking to chicks? Like, why don't we try to like do something lame, like walk up to a chick and like offer, and offer her like a smoke and see if we could skin it at the bar. Like at that time, anyway, lots of people smoke. So we're like, why don't we like get some smokes and like use it to like approach a girl, like hold a cigarette and like see if a girl will like walk up to us and ask for a smoke. And Mike's like, hey, that's a great idea. So me, Mike, and Adrian go to the 7-Eleven that's like 2 blocks away from Brennan's, right? So like, I'm in a hurry because I'm all about getting bitches. So I walk into 7-Eleven, get a pack of smokes, walk right out. It took me 2 minutes, okay? So I'm standing outside. As I'm standing outside, waiting for Mike and Adrian to come out, this blonde chick wearing a got like a LMU pullover. It's a college out there, like an LMU pullover and like jeans. She's dressed normal. Sorry, I don't know the brand of her socks. No, I don't even remember. But anyway, but she's wearing like a like an LMU pullover and blue jeans. Okay, so she's dressed normal, has her hair up in a ponytail. So she's like, hey, can I get a cigarette? I'm like, oh, like I'm like, wow, I just walked out 7-Eleven. It took 3 seconds for someone to bum a cigarette off me. I'm like, yeah, sure, take one. So she grabs a cigarette, okay? I light it up for her and we start talking. She's like, so like, like where you coming from? Like, oh, I'm coming from Brennan's. I just wanted to get a pack of smokes to see if a chick would like come up to me and like ask the bum when I would start talking to her. And like she starts laughing, of course, because well, it's true. That's why I did it. I'm always telling the truth. I don't give a fuck. And so she's like, oh no. And so I'm like, well, like, what are you doing? And so she's like, oh well, like yeah, like I got a motel room and I forgot the name of the motel, but there's a motel like a few blocks away from the 7-Eleven. That's a few blocks away from Brennan's. She's like, yeah, I have a motel room at blah blah blah. I'm just trying to find people who like want to hang out. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, it's like, and then like she said how much, I think like she gave a menu, and I forgot, so I'm gonna paraphrase. It's like like $20 for this, $40 for this, $60 for that. I'm like, and so I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. Like you actually have a menu. You're like Taco Bell, and then she laughed again, and I said, oh yeah, well that's cool. Like I hope you have a good night. I'm not interested, but more power to you. She goes, okay, and she laughed. And then so I'm still waiting outside. Finally, this is after like 7 minutes, Mike and Adrian come out, and the girl makes a beeline to them and starts talking to them. Okay. And then like they all kind of chuckle, and the girl walks away like pretty fast. And then Mike and Adrian walk up to me, and so I go, "So what you guys talk about?" Mike and Adrian go, "Oh, apparently she's an undercover cop, and she was just telling us that she had to walk up to them because she's being filmed, and she just, wants them to think that she's approaching everyone." I'm like, really? So apparently, the first thing she said to them is, "I'm an undercover cop." I love that. I love how she walked up to me trying to get me arrested, but walked up to the two white guys and was like, I'm an undercover cop being filmed. I'm just walking up to you so they think I'm doing my job." Isn't that typical? Right? Now, that is real racism. That is real racism. And that is the only time in my life I've experienced racism. So, like, I'm not one of those people like, oh, that was racist. That was actually racism. But I just thought that was great that, but see, that, and with me, when she said she's an undercover prostitute, I didn't go into details of the story. It's because she was dressed normal, and so she was like, "I'm undercover because I'm dressed normal. I'm not wearing a mini skirt, blah blah blah. 'Cause I'm trying not to like stand out because I'm in front of 7-Eleven. If I'm dressed like a real prostitute, I'll get arrested." But then when she walked up to them, she's like, "I'm an undercover cop," and that just blows my mind. So obviously, she would have taken me to the motel, and like as soon as the door closed, like cops would have grabbed me, and also because she gave me all her prices. If I would be like bargain with her on the price, she would have probably like arrested me there too. I was just like, okay, cool, more power to you. But anyway, I think this is enough for a podcast because you're gonna get two more today. So anyway, guys, remember, stay strong. Get fit, focus on your hobbies, or you can just drink vodka. All right, so I'll see you later. Peace. Oh man. Oh, don't want to pull a DSP.